the battle of Kazakhstan and Armenia with Dadikyan against Morozov.
Two very good friends.
Two very good friends.
For the left arm, #1 rank amongst the active arm wrestling community. I think the longest match I've ever seen in my life.
So I cut this clip, and it was it's like 47 minutes.
That's with it cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As in that's just their matches happening.
Right about
47
now,
match.
Ryan left me alone in the commentary booth. Right about now.
Yeah, well,
I think after the first round
happened so fast, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to be up in a second. I need to go.
Yeah.
Turns out I could have stayed for a lot longer.
This was insane. I expected Dadikyan to come out strong out of the gate, but he dominated those first 3 rounds so impressively. Like Morozov had nothing. He had 0.
And in that 4th round too, he was so
close
so
to pinning,
close to the pad.
close, and that's so frustrating when you're so close to pinning and you see your arm going up, just like, damn it.
But it was very impressive stuff from Dadikyan. His speed and ability to get into position and isolate the bicep of Morozov was impressive. Morozov was the favorite coming into this in most people's eyes. He's the bigger man, the taller man. Bigger wins against his name. Although Dadikyan coming off the back of dominating Oleg Zhok, that is an enormous win as well. Yeah. It was still a surprise to see such early round dominance from Dadikyan.
Especially inside, outside.
Oh, yeah. He went into a top roll as well.
Yeah. Why do you think that happened for Morozov?
When you're the speed, when you're the slower man, the slower, stronger man, you have to try to anticipate where your opponent's going to go, and you've got to sort of lay a defense on both sides of where he could go. And so he did that, and that opening round he tried to top roll. He tried to put a low hand top roll block in place, and that was a risk that he took. Had the risk have paid off, it would have stopped the hook entirely, and it become about power. But the speed and execution of Dadikyan completely just disengaged that top roll, which left him then out of position. And even though you would say Morozov has a stronger arm, once out of position, he lacked ability to rotate and drag, and it was just perfect execution from Dadikyan.
Yeah.
That was one of the most insane matches. Like, I thought, like, okay, Schoolboy Khaled killed that. We're like, okay, this is already a huge success.
Yeah.
And then this much comes on. And like 3 rounds in, we're like, holy shit.
Yeah. I think the holy shit moment came in round 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
he was so close.
Yeah.
You know, ridiculously close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this round happened.
This is the top roll round of
no,
thing?
this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. This is the top roll.
And so that shows the diversity in what David Dadikyan was bringing to the table. He able to control the wrist. He was able to force it in when necessary. And this is, again, putting Morozov in that situation where he's guessing where to defend. Morozov needed to guess correctly in order to really get purchase in that defense.
Yeah. And David pulls so fast that like you only have that split second to kind of decide where he's going before he has you on the pad.
Yeah.
So.
And you get caught when you're the slower defensive puller. You're constantly battling with your mind. You say to yourself, "Do I try to go on the offense?" Because if you go on the offense and you miss it, you get completely disengaged. You get flash pin. So you say, "Okay, no, I won't go on the offense. I'll try to just catch and hold." But then you're out of position when you catch and hold, and there's this constant frustrating battle that you get caught in. But this is the massive round coming up here where David Dadikyan is millimeters from victory and becoming the world number 1 left hand.
And I think this is one of the most impressive things about this match is having that thought process of what do I do to stop him? Morozov was obviously processing that in his head, and it
he was 100% against the wall. There's no mistakes you can make. This is it. If you lose another one, it's done. I think round 4, it started with a good top roll. I think either that he can miss the start a little bit, or he kind of was too confident. Whatever happened, Morozov got a little purchase on his hand, and eventually David slipped, and the strap favors the big man.
This is the first time I've seen it from this nice angle. At this point, I'm ready to be called up. So I'm thinking that this one's going to be over in 30 seconds. So I haven't seen it like this. So I'm really curious. So you can see that high pronated position from Morozov there. That's like an insurance policy. That's a middle ground. He's taken some high ground. He's got some. He can defend high, and he can also. You can see he's in a position where he can enter in the hook. So he's hedged his bets there.
Right,
in the
right.
way that he's
He was
defending.
low handing every round. I asked him like, why wouldn't you pull in a hook? He said, I have a little injury. I cannot pull inside. I can just go outside. So that was the plan.
There you go.
Yeah, because he was like, I have seen Morozov. He has insane wrist flexion where he just goes inside and dominates the matches, but he stayed away, and I expected a hook war, but we got the opposite war.
So, just before, David picked up a foul for moving in a ref's grip.
You can see how much height Morozov has got there. He's done a good job of negotiating that. And here comes the start. You can see the stop happened at the center. But David Dadikyan, his defensive, flat-wristed defense there in that hook, his side pressure through his elbow, incredibly impressive. But what do we have?
I think
It wasn't the round that I was thinking I was going to
No, that is the
So
same. but
that is the
at
same
start,
round?
They had like 3 restarts.
The war
at
happened
this point.
earlier.
The war happened earlier, and they were out of a strap. And
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Overall, I think this is a match that really calls for a rematch. I would love to see it again.
Yeah.
Not very near future.
Dadikyan
but
picks up some injuries ultimately in this match, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It ended at 3-3.
Yeah.
But with David withdrawing from the final silver bullet round.
Correct.
Yeah. There was a moment where I think Arteyom Morozov transitioned to a press and really came heavily down on and there appeared to be a pop or something in the common flexors of David Dadikyan.
Morozov has great endurance. You can see it, and his whole, like when you start winning, you feel like I have a grasp on it. You feel good.
Yeah.
You feel really good.
Yeah, going into the next couple of rounds, like the later rounds, like you can start seeing the smile creep back on his face. He start having a little bit more confidence.
Yeah.
And I was telling Ray at the table, like, we saw this with Dave Chafee at East versus West as well, where he got that.
It's a
right above there.
fascinating thing to experience where the pendulum starts to turn, and the man who was guessing before is now all of a sudden the fog is clearing for him, and he can start to feel that he's got more room to move, and he doesn't need to be. He's not aiming for such a small target now, and it becomes the faster man that was dominating early. His opportunity is evaporating, and he's got a much smaller target to aim for, and you can see that literally unfolding as the rounds went on.
Yeah, David also went really hard. He was not going to give up. He went as hard as he could to get that one pin in. Morozov was just a little bit better in those later rounds.
Yeah, the diesel engine started kicking in.
Kicking in. Got warm.
I don't speak Russian, but I think just because we were monitoring what they were saying, I think they were actually concerned for each other at the table as well. Are you injured? Is your
Are you
wrist okay?
okay?
So there was conversation between the two of them.
Yeah.
But they were still pushing hard.
None of them were like.
It's crazy.
Well, they're friendly, but they're like.
No, I'm still gonna give it to you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let up on your wrist, even though it's
Exactly.
fucked. Like I'm still going on your wrist.
David's personality is such an interesting one. He's a faithful man. He's very quiet and calm outside of the table. You won't see any aggression from him at all. He's very neutral and very respectful. And then you get him on the table, and he's one of the most passionate people you'll ever see call. Everything means a lot to him on there, and he wears it on his sleeve when it comes down to it.
Yeah, he was fighting for every millimeter he could have.
And all he needed was a millimeter to start. Like
Yes.
that's the tricky thing.
That was a great performance from both of them. Like if someone thinks there's a loser in this match, I don't see it as a loser in this match. I think both of them came out looking really, really good, showing different things, but looking very, very good.
Who do you think is on the cards for either of these athletes?
Each other.
Other than a rematch. Other than a rematch.
Look. Well, I mean, this overall number one rank for left arm is said with respect to the other names out there that we know are legitimate. Obviously, Levan Sagnashvili could step in at any point in time and be the favourite against either of these guys. But there's other names, even Vitaly Laletin, as we saw later on the main event. He's great left arm. There's a bunch of them out there. But right now, these guys deserve their time at the top. And until the challenges are made, then,
Just knowing what Morozov has done to everyone else, we know that Dadikyan is the top of the food chain. Both of them are. Yeah.